carol aid linking Trafalgar Square with a village in Kenya to raise funds for the victims of famine and poverty in Africa. And with the time now at 6:25, we've the news on BBC One with Jan Leeming.
A police siege in London ends peacefully as two men give themselves up. Armed police surrounded a house in West London for more than 8 hours today. One of the men inside was thought to be armed and threatened to blow up the house, but after negotiations with the police, he and another man walked out quietly.
A 999 call sent police speeding to this terraced house in Hampton just before 2 o'clock this morning. Inside were two men. One was reported to be holding the other hostage with a shotgun in what police describe as a domestic dispute. As armed police surrounded the house, negotiations were carried out by telephone. And shortly after 10 o'clock this morning, the first of the two men gave himself up. He was thoroughly searched in case he was carrying any weapons. And then he was escorted in handcuffs to a police van. Moments later, the alleged hostage emerged from the house with his hands up. The two men were then driven away for questioning at separate police stations. The siege was over without a shot being fired.
Well, I think it's vindicated a policy of containment and negotiation, which has always been our policy. We'll try and get them out by peaceful persuasion if we can.
The Labour leader, Mr Kinnock, has said renationalising industries privatised by the Conservatives remains an objective of a future Labour government, but not a top priority. Mr Kinnock said on BBC Radio that efforts to reduce employment and rebuild the economy would come first. Israel says it will feel free to choose the time and place to retaliate for last Friday's terrorist attacks at Rome and Vienna airports. They left 18 people dead and well over 100 injured. Today, Israeli ministers discussed the attacks. What they decided was kept secret, but later the defense minister promised to hit back at terrorist organizations and inflict maximum damage.
I hope that our act against the PLO headquarters in Tunisia made it clear, not only to the PLO, not only to the Palestinian terror organizations, but also to the Arab government, that there will be no immunity to terror headquarters, and Israel will feel it free to decide when and where and by what means to attack them.
In southern Africa, 7 people killed before Christmas in a cross-border raid into Lesotho have been buried in the capital, Maseru. Most were political refugees from South Africa. Lesotho blamed the South African security forces, but they denied it.
The ANC flag flew over the funeral, identifying both the victims and the motive for the killings. The death squad who surprised them at a Christmas party and gunned